Alright, what's shucking and jiving? My friends, what's driving your passion? What you up to? How you do? This is my boudoir. Obviously, you can tell by my sensual regalia. Love these pajamas. My best friend got them for me for Christmas. It's Grumps. My girl, tartar sauce, R.I.P. Love you, girl. You're my inspiration. No joke. I told you I'm pretty witchy. So the evening, basically, that tartar sauce, our dear heroine, the hero of the people, Grumpy Cat. And I'm being serious here, guys. I know you can fucking think whatever you want. Everybody's got 6 jillion opinions crashing into each other like frickin' comets in the sky right now, and that's fine. But I've stepped away from idol worship as much as I did in my yesteryears. I think celebrity is kind of a sick concept. Even though I still want to be one, I'm a fucking hypocrite like everybody else, right? Okay, but at least I'm aware of it. But truly, I loved Grumpy Cat. Like, fave celebrity besides Elvira. I'm gonna meet you one day. Cassandra Peterson, my best friend, and I are going to meet you. It is our only goal in life, really, at this point. But the day that Grumpy Cat passed, or, thereabouts, I don't know, obviously, exactly what time it happened, but the night before the announcement was made, I was feeling real bummed on many plummeting soul levels. And I have this other Grumpy Cat nightgown that's like a huge oversized she-shirt, and it's Grumpy on her birthday, and she's like in the cake, like me, with a party hat on, and there's all streamers, and she's just like, fuck this. Love it. And I dug it out of this drawer. It had been kind of like hidden amongst many other shirts that had not been worn or properly given their due time in the fashion runway of my house, which is where I spend most of my time these days. Stay with me, Gizmo. You're famous. Stay in the frame. You're the cutest part of this whole thing. Just stay in it. But I swear, I'm going other directions with this. I don't know where I'm going. Do any of us know where we're going right now? Not really. Gizmo, damn it. Buddy. No, I want you to be with me. I want you to be with me. Don't fight it. Come here. Don't fight it. Okay. That's a buddy. There we go. He likes a lot of constant attention, so if he's not being paid attention to, he's like, fuck this, I'm going back to my trailer. You scamp. You little scamper. This is live theater. It's a live performance here, Gizmo. So, I put on my Grumpy Cat nightgown and probably hadn't worn it in... I'm just going to call myself out here. I could rotate clothing for the next 400 to 500 years. Don't judge me. Most of it is because people give me giant garbage bags full of their weird stuff that they're like, I will never wear this. And I'm like, I will wear that tomorrow. I will don that crazy poofy sleeved fabulousness the next time I go out, which I didn't know was going to be pretty much never. So yeah, I probably hadn't worn it in 3 years. And put on my Grumpy Cat. Even said to my boyfriend, like, I'm just really thinking about Grumpy right now. Like, my thoughts are with Tartar Sauce. That's her real name. And she was gone from the world the very next day. And I sobbed, and I took pictures in my shirt. So anyway, I was kind of going through that story because I'm just wearing my nope Nope. And I'm going to a little bit of a hard emotional spot, but it's okay. I'll try to make up for it tomorrow. I will try to dig up something in my writing, in my creativity that is a little more upbeat. Jiving in the upswing. But I gotta be real with you when I'm being real. And I'm talking like I always talk. This is my video voice, my YouTube channel, whatever. I'm trying to do the thing. But I'm gonna be serious and be real with you. My dad had a surgery today to save the vision in his right eye. Pretty scary. I was kind of panicking all day. And lo and behold, weirdly enough, I started having pretty fucking severe lower back, upper front, hot, kind of stabby pain. And I'm not feeling good at all. Not in the slightest, actually. So I actually went to the hospital today to get my blood drawn and my PP tested, and I don't even eat at restaurants anymore, let alone like go to the hospital. So I was pretty paranoid. All things considered. And of course, because I can't really super go anywhere without like he's supposed being like sad boy Jones. That's what we call him when he's being like moody, like he's not getting the attention. It's sad boy Jones. That little freaking critter. Oh my god. Little freaking critter. But so yeah, I can't really do anything or go anywhere without like something super kind of weird happening, or like I don't know, just extra, I guess you could call it. I'm very extra, so I guess it shouldn't surprise you too terribly that very extra things tend to happen to me, but you know, it's not whatever. I'm not putting myself on a scale with other people. I know pretty much the most catastrophic shit is going down that one could ever really imagine right now. Believe me, people mistake me a lot of times for someone who's like totally checked out and just all about my unicorns. But I've actually watched about 5 to 6 news programs a day since I was about 7 years old. And I've had to really cut back. But that's the thing about me is I love when people prove me wrong. Prove me long. I love when people prove me wrong. I love when I think something about somebody and I perceive something about someone and I've got my like whole, oh, I got your number, I got you down. And then they're like the total opposite of that. I love that. Because unfortunately, so often I'm right. So often I do my like Star Trek scan, whatever weird witchy computer I have in my brain, and I'm usually fucking right. And I'm not saying that in an arrogant way. I'm just saying like it's usually pretty accurate. It's one of the only things I'm good at is kind of that scan. So I love it when people change my mind about things. And so I like to have a touch of that in myself because people see me and they just presume like, oh, she's so wacky, she's so disconnected, she's so like dramatic and like in her own thing. And I actually try to keep myself pretty up to date on like what the fuck is going on. So that ramble is just about like, I know that my problems are actually just mostly inconveniences on the grand scale. I was in a great little touching play in high school called All I Need to Know I Learned in Kindergarten. Ting! It was actually quite poignant. But one of the monologues was problems and inconveniences. And it's fucking so tearjerker of a monologue. It's like, I can't remember it exactly, but it's like a custodian and talking to a student who's going on and on about their problems, and then he teaches him the lesson of like, hey, my man, there's a thing called problems and there's a thing called inconveniences. Let me show you the diff here. Beautiful play. Oh my gosh, she's falling asleep in the cutest little freaking way. But yeah, sorry, so many tangents. It's just been a really hard week, guys. It's been a really tough week and a tough day. I am such a baby. The woman who was my nurse was gorgeous beyond belief and the most talented blood draw I have ever had in my life. Truly amazing, like flawless, okay? And I told her, I was like, hyperventilating and already starting to cry. And I was like, just think of me like a 4-year-old when it comes to things like this. I'm not brave. I'm not brave. I'm scared all the time. I'm not good at this. And it was just like, bling. And she was done. I was like, girl, you a ninja. You should have ninja on your name tag. And she's like, you're right, I should, but it just says my name. I should get it changed. And I was like, we just bonded a little. Here's my pee. Anyway, yeah, so I'm pretty scared right now. I'm having some pretty scared feelings about my dad. I really want him to recover. Well, he has to lay face down for 2 weeks. I mean, sitting around in a pandemic doing the same goddamn thing every day is pretty hard, but he can't look at his phone. But luckily for my paw, he's got a flip phone. Isn't that cute? He's still got the cheek, cheek, cheek. It's awesome. I love it. Like that, I applaud him for it every time I talk to him. He can't watch movies. No Netflix. No computer scrolling. No blue light. No nothing. You just gotta lay flat in like a massagey pillow, looking at the ground. Maybe audiobooks, but my dad doesn't really... I had to introduce him to the concept of audiobooks a couple days ago. So I'm pretty worried about that, even though they said it went well, but I don't know. Shit's scary. Lasers are scary. Surgeries are scary. And I'm worried about my own insides, which are making a lot of noise right now because they're very unhappy. And I was kind of thinking maybe it was just my sciatica. I've got some really bad, like, old lady sciatica problems from being a waiter, working on my feet in the service industry for 15 agonizing years. You betcha. You betcha. That's what you do when you're an actor. But I kind of started to suspect kidney stones, which is really scary because I've gone through that before, and it is a horror movie of epic proportions. Okay? Yeah, horrifying, truly horrifying. It was when I was at acting school in LA. I had taken a semester break and come back, and my parents just left the day before. They like drove out from Colorado with my stuff and we moved me back in, and they got me all situated and they hit the road the following day. And this is a really great story that just like indicates my personality because fuck, dude. I'm just always, and I'm not even trying to like brag. It's actually a total deficit to have in a personality, but I put people before myself to like a fault, and I will totally shove aside my needs, even if they're like life-threatening, to like, so that I don't minorly inconvenience anyone. It's like awful. But so I had just gotten back, moved in. Literally my parents left, and the following day I woke up feeling like kind of the worst feelings I've ever felt, but I thought maybe it was just like tummy trubs. So rather than wake up my roommate and go in our bathroom, I went to the clubhouse of our apartment complex where we were staying. It's like this huge... It's called Oakwood. People call it Cokewood. I also lived there when I was 17. That was a whole fucking ordeal. I'll tell you those stories some other time. But it's like a lot of child stars trying to be famous, and like porn stars and rock stars. Child stars, porn stars, rock stars. I'm serious. Those are the majority of people I met there. So I was living there, and I just went to the clubhouse to use their bathroom in the like joint communal area, so that I didn't bug my roommates. And so what actually ended up occurring is that I passed out in my own vomit on the floor in the clubhouse, and one of the cleaning ladies found me. Yeah, like suffocating and really fucking sick. And so then they got my roommates, and at my acting school it was pretty crazy. They told us like, if you miss one class, you go down a letter grade, which I think is hysterical. I'm not trying to shit talk, like I said. I would not take back my experiences from there, but I didn't get no degree, so why you made me work so hard? Like, I don't know. They wanted to make it this like, you want to make it in Hollywood? Well, this is a mini Hollywood, so try it. Let's see you try. And it was very dead serious. And if you missed one class, you were taken down a letter grade, and they literally told us, you better be dying if you're going to miss a class. That's it. Okay. Although I will say, and I don't think he would care if I called him out. I just recently told him to watch my videos. But the most handsome motherfucker who went to our school was late all the time. Do you think he ever got taken down a letter grade? No. Because he was a handsome fucking dude. Like, movie star handsome. So, I don't know. I'm just saying. I don't think his grades suffered that much. But, things are funny. The exceptions people make for things are pretty freaking funny. But, and I'm not saying his name, so he's fine. He'll be fine. Because he's still that handsome. He'll be okay. But so I went to the office. I had my roommates drive me over to the school to take me up to the office, and this was me walking. Like, could not stand up straight. I'm not at that level right now, but it's pretty uncomfy. I'll describe it that way. It's pretty uncomfy in this whole general vicinity. But, yeah, so I couldn't walk, couldn't stand up straight, and I went in and was like, does this count? Like, is this good enough? I think I'm dying. And it was really cool. I will say one really, like, yay, awesome to my school. I mean, I could say a lot of good things about them. Truly. All things I've experienced in my life. I could say a lot of shitty things and a lot of really wondrous things. But they paid for my ambulance, and that was crazy, super cool. But it was just a very disorienting experience, and my parents had just left, and like my mom's high school, my mom's high school friend came and was like my replacement mom at the hospital. Like, I didn't know who else to call. I was like, I need an adulty or adult. I like that saying. And so she came and she helped me, and damn good thing that she showed up, because they had me on so many drugs, and they were like, well, if you had waited 48 hours, you'd be dead. Like, you have a horrible infection. And it just came so suddenly. It was like I was fine, and then I was not. And she helped me make the decisions, because it's like crazy. They give you all these drugs to like help you, and then they're like, okay, now you need to make life-saving decisions about what surgeries you're going to get and sign your name on all this legal documents. And I was like, yeah, what's my name? So she helped me make some of those decisions. I woke up surrounded, like crazy, out of like it felt like a war movie. I mean, I hate to say it, but that's exactly what it felt like. There was people all around me with like blood and crazy injuries, and like it was a deep in the city hospital, and like there was some people a couple feet away from me with some pretty horrific injuries. And I just woke up on this hospital bed and shot my head up, and I raised my hand like I was in class still, like on the drugs, and I was like, I'm ready to go. Can I go? Like, I want to go. And I'm trying to speed up the story. There's a lot to it, but basically I had a crazy stint put in. That was trauma. I was bleeding a lot. There was a lot of crazy blood going on, and I peed my pants constantly. And again, the pressure from my school was enormous. They're like, you gotta fight through it. You gotta still attend those stage combat classes. You gotta pull your weight. You gotta keep pushing through. And I was peeing my pants, I don't know, 3 times a week. Like, when you have a stint in, your window of opportunity to pee is so small. And when you're in Los Angeles, like, I remember one time I was peeing in a parking lot while a guy was taking a shit, and he was like a homeless guy, and I was just peeing, and I was like, this is humanity, bro. What's up? We just gave each other a little wave, and it was like, yo, hey. Peed my pants, peed in the elevator. I was always just like sobbing, feeling real bad about myself, peeing all over the place, but I couldn't help it. And I tried to get my apartment complex. Thanks a lot, Oakwood. Tried to get them to give me a better parking spot. I was like, hey, homies, I have this crazy stint in, and I'm trying to go over the speed bumps in my, like, way far away poor person parking spot. Or lower middle class, sorry. I know. I'll put myself in my place. But, like, I gotta go to Timbuktu to get my parking spot. Could you help me out? And they're like, for an extra $250, we could help you out. I'm like, okay, well, fuck you. So anyway, it was really traumatizing. And every woman I've spoken to who has had babies and had kidney stones said they'd rather have another baby than another kidney stone. So, I don't know, put out the good juju, the prayers. I take prayers of all denominations, any light you want to send. because I'm feeling pretty shitty. Like I wouldn't go into the hospital if I wasn't. And I'm putting it on for you right now because I'm doing like my YouTube channel. But I was not feeling very functional today, or the day before, or the day before that. And it's hard because it seems like the stressful things just kind of keep coming. So I'll speed it up. We're getting already into the 20-minute territory. I can't tell a fucking good, juicy story in less than 10 minutes, it seems like. I did bring out like one little bit of lightness, though. I just want people to like send some good thoughts to my dad, too. I told him right before his eye surgery today, I was like, Dad, you gotta think about funny shit. Because he, like, you know, I feel sorry for men because they really have a hard time dealing with their fears. Like, he doesn't know where to put fear in his body, and it kind of turns into, like, anger and, like, festers into this frustration. So I was like, Dad, you gotta think of the funny things. Like that one time we were in San Diego and you said you were gonna throw me into the monkey cage for a picture, and then it got a little dangerously close and it kind of felt like you were actually gonna throw me into the monkey cage. So that was a good one. And just, you know, put out good thoughts for him. And I'm trying to write a poem about his eyes and how beautiful he sees things, but I'm not done with it. So maybe I'll try to bust that out tomorrow as my like more positive making up for this one, because the lighting in here is a little moody, you know. And we'll do various locations in my bedroom because every corner of my room is like a different display. It's kind of like the museum of my life. But I thought this lighting and this setting was kind of appropriate because it looks like I just woke up and I'm like, what time is it? And that's what I want it to look like, because that's kind of what the poem is about. And these are honest and real feelings and overwhelming feelings, and I'm not trying to hide them. And it's hard to feel all these wacky feelings, guys. Like, I don't know where to put them all. But I do want to bring, you know, equal parts realness and madness and brightness. So I'll try to bring some of that tomorrow, but I can't get the poem right. I'm trying to do it justice for my dad. He's also a really a bodlant poet. I can't talk right now. It's just been too long a day. He is a brilliant poet, as is my mother. So we're all poets, and we've always known it. Yeah, his is like, I don't know, sometimes he makes me a little jealous because it's like on that Thoreau level. Like, he writes about nature and you're like, I never even knew words like that existed. Like, just these words of honor. And my mom has been on a thing recently called Cultivating Voices that like goes around the world. So that's pretty fucking awesome. People from other countries have heard her poetry and given her compliments. So it's pretty cool. So we're all kind of like doing our jivey poet thing. But yeah, anyway, I really want the poem about my dad to be fitting and perfect, so I keep taking it apart. And he had a lot of issues with his other eye as a child. It was lazy and wandering, and so he had to have some old school 1950s surgeries on that one, which is horrifying, so scary. Can't imagine that trauma. Excuse me, sorry, feeling so many weird feelings. Pushing through it. Really hope it's not appendicitis. When they took out my ovary, I was like, can't you just take the damn appendix too? Like, isn't that thing kind of useless? Taking my gallbladder on this side, my ovary, and my fallopian tube. I'm like, just get it out of there. So I'm really hoping it's not that. I just don't want to lose any more parts. Meh. Anyway, but yeah, so he had this surgery on his other eye as a boy, and he can't see 3D. And I've always felt really sad for him about that, like the magic eye things and 3D movies. He can't see it, and it makes him really sad. He cried about it once. They made some like new technology, like all new 3D glasses. He's like, maybe this time. And he cried a little. Made me really sad. I wanted it to work for him. But so anyway, fingers crossed that goes well. Fingers crossed that whatever the heck is going on here, could be just severe endometriosis, could be back problems from too much waitressing, but it feels more internal than that. I don't know, guys. Just send me a little kind thought if you would. But this poem is kind of just about not being able to sleep through all the stress. And once again, I did it on paper, being a little lazy. I think you'll forgive me. Had a toughie of a Toughie of a day, y'all. Oh, yeah, that was the thing about the story I forgot. Well, how I said that things get weird for me everywhere I go. Brought my brand new insurance card in that I'm freaking paying for, and they said, this card is invalid. And I was like, why am I always in the Matrix? It's totally valid. I just got it. I'm paying for it. I don't know. I don't know why. But life is weird. Yeah. So, wrote this one kind of just about these crazy late night meanderings of my mind. My best friend has a lot of trouble sleeping as well, like maybe more than anyone I know. And her and I will just be texting at like 3 in the morning, like, why are we not tired yet? What the fuck is wrong with us? We should be sleeping. And it's tough. It's tough when you start like going in that spin cycle of like, oh my god, everything, and then you just can't like let yourself calm the fuck down. So, here we go. Wrote this one and it's called, well, how about that caveat? When it's 4 a.m. again, do you grab a pen? Spend the endless clock ticks bending your thoughts around what you ought to have done or should do still? Take a pill? Take a plunge into the saturated sponge that is your never-ending wondering? The past is just thundering in that strange pool between the witching hour and the sun's triumphant towering above us all. I've always struggled to heed that call of the early worm. Instead, I squirm and toss and turn in the dark morning hours, powerless to the mess that is my web of thoughts, ideas, unwritten dreams, and lack of means. Lunar beams provide some comfort. She seems to whisper that others too are checking their screens for some soothing update that won't come or will come too late. I suppose if I wasn't too damn sensitive to inebriate myself, if it wasn't so toxic to my health, I'd pull some golden liquor from the shelf and see if sleep came that way. An array of brilliant ventures enter my headspace, only I'm too out of it to grab a notebook, and they get wasted. This tiredness turns into a face twitch. Flip all the light switches on to see if I can just make the most of the vacant hours, but 4 a.m. productivity is not, as it turns out, one of my superpowers. Should I shower? Should I eat? Should I stack up some more stacks of tasks that are still incomplete? Now I know I'll greet the day groggy and already prone to defeat. My alarm is like an angry goat's bleat. Shuffle feet into furry slippers. I used to be headed out by now. For all the demanding fair to midland tippers. All the 3-hour coffee sippers who toss me their pocket change in a deranged and degrading display of a hierarchy we pretend we've moved past. But the lingering glances at my ass and the snitty faces waving their empty glasses at me like they were dehydrated in the Sahara fucking desert solidified my theory that snobbery is a whole other class. Oh, the slobbery takers who think because you wait on them, they have some deserved access portal to your life force. But of course, I don't do that anymore. In fact, I do not often venture past the front door. I pour myself into my poetry and ponder all the many sides of me, try to construct Glenda Goodwitch bubbles around my prolific sensitivities, examine with great difficulty my proclivity for taking battering rams to my inner light and soaking up the mighty plights around me. That's why the nights surround me with compounding fear and mystery. What is the universe's intended trajectory? Will I poke a tiny pinhole in the pages of history? Will the light ever emerge consistently? It's confounding, and it all gets to me. Far past midnight, I'm on the trapeze with no net below, right above a swarm of bees. My mentality is scurrying up a giant tree from a ferocious predator. I pull out all my shields and defenses against my anxiety monster, but he is a fierce competitor. I feel the goddess of rage is fully set off, and all these angry mobs abetted her. And somebody put the goddess of vengeance in charge, and nobody vetted her. All the monsters I dreaded hiding beneath my bed have emerged. All the waters of forceful messages surge. I can feel them rushing, rising, my little psyche raft capsizing. I try my mantras and my mudras and end up writhing in the infinite threads which billow out of my control. But still, I try to grab hold and get rolled into the world's largest ball of knots. I hold the fruit of hope so honorably, and it still rots so quickly. Did all those inspirational movies trick me? We went from unique snowflakes to a billion desperate human buttons screaming, "Click me, click me, click me!" Click like, bring me the hype, validate me in bold type. Pardon my gripe. I guess my stress sweat is a little ripe. I just don't want us to swipe left on all that's supposed to make us human. So, I wrote that one today. That just came out of the old thinker right after I got back from the hospital. So, I don't know. I was just thinking about how I haven't been sleeping much. Actually, I'm lying. I started the first 2 lines. When it's 4 a.m. again, do you grab a pen? Spend the endless clock ticks, bending your thoughts around what you ought to have done or should do still. Take a pill, take a plunge into the saturated sponge that is your never-ending wondering. I wrote those 2 thoughts at like 4 in the morning. And then the rest of the poem poured out of me today while I was like, yeah, still not really feeling like I can sleep. But you get the gist. You get it. At least I hope you do. Or some parts of it. Or maybe none of it. And that's cool too. But we'll see you soon. I love you guys. We're just gonna like end it on Gizmo sleeping like the most precious little freaking cutie that he is. Oh my goodness, this boo. So day 34. I hope that you come back tomorrow for more. Good night.